For example นะครับ we'll do it together. For example in here I would like to create นะครับ I would like to create what to say total gross sales. I would like to create total gross sales. What should I do? The way in order to create total gross sales is that we have to think first where to keep that measure. Similar to the column, the measure should be placed in the same table where most of the columns are stored. For example, you know that total gross sales come from the summation of the gross sale in orders detail table. Then the measure gross sales, total gross sales should be kept in the same table that is order detail table too. In here, when you know the location already, next we think about the formula. When we would like to find total gross sales, it is the summation of the gross sales, each gross sales, in the orders detail table. Then you have to use sum. Okay, now how can we do it? Firstly, we go to Home tab. We choose orders detail table first. We go to Home tab and then choose New Measure. New Measure is like on the left-hand side of the new column is here. You just click New Measure. So you can see that in here, it said measure equals. It's similar to column because it appears a formula similar to the column. The next thing that you have to do, sorry, I just misclick it. Home, New Measure, okay. And after that, you just just enter the formula that we have. Sorry. Home, New Measure, okay. So in here, the first formula that I'll teach you in the measure for the measure is sum. You just type sum in the formula, and you can see that in here it said sum in the parenthesis column name. So this one you want to sum gross sales. You have to open parenthesis and type gross sales. In here, actually, measure can be placed in any table. It's different from column because column must be displayed in the same table from the calculation. So in here, if we say that we would like to keep the total gross sales in the orders detail table, you create a measure here, and then you just choose the column gross sales. It's in order detail, right? The gross sale is here. You double click on orders detail gross sales. It will copy the data into this formula, close parenthesis. And then you rename this measure a bit. I will rename it as total underscore gross underscore sales underscore measure. And then I'll explain to you why. Actually, even though Power BI allows you to enter any name with the space or the blank between wordings that you have. But my suggestion to make yourself to work with Power BI easily, when you would like to name some variables, some measures, or some columns in the long words, I suggest you to use underscore to link between each word. And if it is the measure, as you are newbies to Power BI, I recommend you to enter underscore measure if it is a measure. Or in terms of the column, for example, the gross sales column, net sales column, I suggest you to put underscore column behind that column name or that measure name. The reason is because when you have a look at it later on, you can notice to it easily whether it's the column or whether it's a measure. Okay, in here, everyone just name the same as my one. Total underscore gross underscore sales underscore measure like this. The formula is sum other details gross sales. Okay, after that you press enter. Okay, now let's have a look. Let's have a look. You can see that if we go to order detail table, once you try to scroll, you don't see anything that is total gross sales at all. You don't see the total gross sales at all. Total gross sale measure, sorry. As I told you, because it's not the column. So that's why it does not exist in your table here. But if you would like to see the calculation of total gross sales measure later on, where can we find it? If you remember, I told you that, okay, you have to think first, where will you keep the measure? And I said that, okay, in this measure, we would like to keep it in the orders detail table. Now, it's stored in orders detail table, and where is it? Now, let's have a look. If you have a look on orders detail table, in the field list pane on the right-hand side, you can see that the total gross sales measure is located here. And you can see that it's a part of orders detail. How can we know that it's a measure or it's a column? If you create it by yourself, one thing to notice whether it's a column or measure is that you just notice here in front. If it is the table-like symbol, this is column. But if the symbol look like calculator, here is a measure. If you can't remember, what should you do? As I told you earlier, you put behind the name with underscore measure. And you can just like, you don't need to remember, you just have a look. Which value has underscore measure, that is a measure. And if you ask me that, should we have it? Like discount amount column, gross sales column, net sales column, it's up to you. Somebody said that I'll put just a measure. The things that I don't put is a column. That one is okay too. When you have this already, you can see that in here, it doesn't show the value of total gross sales measure for you in the table. How can we see it? How can we see the total gross sale measure? We want to know how much did we sell this product as a gross sales value. The only way to show the total gross sales measure or any measures that you created is that you have to use a tool, a visual tool in Power BI to display. For example, in here, if I create a new report on page 3, you can see that in here, the measure here is called total gross sales measure. There are some of the visuals that can help us to display this gross sales, measure. This kind of measure is what we call a card. For the card in Power BI, we have 2 different types of cards. So I want you to just like move your mouse pointer over the visual to see a visual called card and multi-row card. So you can see that we have 2 of the Power BI visual that are what we call cards. So the one that I just like frame it in here, the first oneนะครับ is what we call card. The other one is what we call multi-row card. Cardนะครับ if you choose a visual call card, it shows one value for you. If you choose multi-row cards, it is a cardนะครับ or a rectangle that can show many values inside นะครับ In this one, because we have just one value only, that is the total gross sales measure. Then we just use card is enough นะครับ Then you just click on card นะครับ Then the card is placed in your report. Then you tick total gross sales measure. You can see that right now, this is a card. It shows 1.35 million. That is the total gross sales that we've got, that we have got. Right. But if we use multi-row card to display, what will happen? If we choose total gross sales measure, you can see that in here it shows total gross sales measure in one set of data. In this one, one good thing for multi-row card is that multi-row card will show the details of the value for you. That is the full number of that one, of that value. But if you just use the card only, the basic ones, it shows it shows the data in abbreviation. Now you can see that it just show 1.35 million and the field name, just that. Sorry, not field name, the measure name in here. Okay, right. So this is the measure and the way in order to display it. Right. After we have this one already, you can see that when we've got the data in here, when we've got the data in here, the measure can be displayed only when we use a visual tool, like like card or multi-row card to display. You cannot display the data that you have in the measure directly in the table in the data view. It doesn't show the measure for us. Okay, all right. Okay, so before I just like let you create some measures for me, do you have any question for this example to create the measure? So just a little bit if you would like to modify or edit your measure the place where you can edit your measure is that you have to go back to the data view. After that, you go to the table where you keep the measure. So if you know that our measure is located in orders detail table, you click on orders detail table and you see the measure. Click on that measure and then you see the formula in the formula bar. Then you can change it or edit it. Okay. So if you don't have any question for the measure, the first measure that I showed you, then I would like you to create some measures by yourself. Okay, so I have 4 things for you to do. So the first one, you have to create measure 1, 2, and 3. Measure 1 is total net sales measure. Measure 2 is total tax amount measure. Measure 3 is the revenue measure. You can name measure number 3 by yourself. And after that, you visualize the values that you calculate in measure 1, 2, and 3. This one I give you 10 minutes to do that. Okay. Just like do it now while I'm preparing the next thing for you to do. In this week, I think around like maybe Wednesday, you should know about it. I'll just like let you know in the line group as well that, okay, if the score is announced, I will announce it on e-learning. Yeah. Okay, welcome back everyone. So I told you to create the couple of measures นะครับ the first one is to create total net sales measure นะครับ to find the total net sales of all orders in here นะครับ okay the total net sales order here you can see that okay we have to take a look first where is the net sales do we have so we create a measure called we created a column called net sales นะครับ in the orders detail table then I expect to create the measure of the net sales here นะครับ so but if you say that can we create the measure total net sales somewhere else yes you can because measure is just a single value it can be stored in any tables as you like นะครับ but I decide to store the total net sales measure in here นะครับ in the orders detail table then I just go to home tab นะครับ choose new measure and after that I just create by having a sum นะครับ sorry new measure it's here I name it as total net sales measure นะครับ equals to sum นะครับ of the net sales that I have in the table orders detail นะครับ it's here then I close parenthesis this is the first one after that I have to create the total tax amount measure total tax amount measure the total tax amount measure is also in the orders detail table as well นะครับ so I just like create the new measure I go to home new measure and then create it again นะครับ I know that it's the sum of the tax นะครับ amount tax amount is a column that we created on the last class นะครับ in the order details table นะครับ so for the tax amount let's see in this one you can see that because we don't have the tax amount in here before นะครับ so the easy one that we created นะครับ for the tax amount in here is that for the tax amount it may be just like let's say assume that I said it's a 5% นะครับ it's a 5% of the 5% of the net sales นะครับ let's say if I created a column นะครับ called tax amounts is 0.05 times net sales นะครับ in here after that I just like create the measure to sum the tax amounts I go to create new measure and then I call it as total tax amount measure equals to sum นะครับ in the table orders detail tax amount ครับ and then create it after that I create the third measure that is revenue that is total net sales subtracted by total discount I create a new measure once again and I call this one by myself that is the revenue นะครับ total store revenue underscore measure equals to total net sales total net sales is that I have to sum of the net sales นะครับ subtracted by discount amount sum of the discount amount in the orders detail as well. Here, นะครับ then I get the total revenue measure here. Now we get 3 different measures already. We will display or we will visualize these values in the report. In this one, I have to choose multi-card rows, multi-row cards. After that, I just like choose the data that I want to have. Starting from total net sales measure, I go to find total net sales measure first, choose it. After that, total tax amount measure. And lastly, total revenue measure. Okay. And after that, when I zoom, these are the values that I have. But if I would like to have just like the summarized value, not the details value like this, I may choose like difference of the cards. Sorry, one card is for one measure. One card is for one measure. The first card, I show total net sales. After that, I create another card to show tax amount, total tax amount. And after that, I create the last measure, the last card to display the total revenue. So it depends on your displaying for whatever you want. Okay, like this. Okay, this is what we can do in order to show us for this kind of thing. Okay, right. Okay, then after we have the information like this already, okay, there are 2 things that I want you to do while we do not meet each other. I would like you to, the first one, okay, let's talk about the makeup class first, because on this coming Wednesday, I have to be in the hospital, this coming Wednesday and next Monday. So I have to schedule the makeup class for us. And the first makeup class that I just like check it up for us is on what do you say, next Thursday. Actually, there will be 2 makeup class for us that I just like I don't say that it's the first makeup class. It's 1 makeup class is on the next Thursday. Let me just like check for another one, and then I'll let you know. On the makeup class, unfortunately, I have to be on the campus only to conduct the class. But if you are at home, no problem. You can just like use Zoom. I will not count you as absent. And also on the makeup class, normally we don't check the attendance. So if possible, you can join the class on our on my just like assign the makeup class for us. That is the first one. I will just like let you know on Sky and on our line group. That is the first one. Next one, while we don't see each other for a week, the things that I want to let you do for me is that I want you to do the team assignment. This is extra point assignment. Okay, you can see that in here. There are 34 built-in visuals in Power BI that you can see. Actually, I will not include R and PY because I'm sorry. I will not include R and PY in here because they are programming. It will make you confused if you have to use this one. I'll exclude this one out. Okay. So the things I would like you to do is a teamwork. these built-in visuals Power BI visual นะครับ this built-in Power BI visuals are useful to create reports in different situations. From your assigned visuals, what situation or when should each visuals be applied? I would like you to explain the suitable facts or situation that each visual should be used and create a small set of data and show that visuals on a report for your team's extra point presentation. So what would I like you to do? First one, I will assign the visual for your team. After that, the things that you have to do with your team is that you have to find out the situation where we should use that visual. For example, when I told you that when we talk about pie chart is good when you have, let's say, not many different items of data to be displayed. For example, 5 to 10 to 12 pieces of data should be okay. But if you said we have like 1,000 products and we would like to display the revenue of each product in the pie chart, it is not suitable. Then the things that you should do is that, okay, if you get the pie chart, you may just like show me like let's say 12 pieces of data and then just show it, visualize it, and then explain which or for that for that visual, it's good in this situation, it's not good in what situation. For example, you say that, okay, pie chart is not good when you have thousands of data to be displayed in one visual. You just explain like that. So the things that I want you to do is that once you find the information like this, you create Power BI file in order to visualize this data. And after that, your team has to record a video for me. How do you going to record? The easiest tools that your team can help each other to record is to use Zoom. The things that you do is that you just like one person in the team who is the coordinator of the team, just like start your Zoom room. It has the personal room once you log in into Zoom. Then you just tell your teammates to join the Zoom room. The person who is the coordinator of the team, you just record the video. When your teammate is showing some visualize by sharing the screen and also just like talk in the Zoom, you just present to each other. And after that, each team has to submit me the video file. Together with Power BI file. And if you have PowerPoint, that would be great. I will upload this Power BI presentation from each team to our e-learning so that other teams can learn in the short time for suitable visual that we should use. Okay. What visual that your team is assigned? Let's have a look first. I will put the number like this. It will be like this. If you see the visual in your Power BI, it's here. In the report view, visual is here. So we have visual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Until 34. I will exclude R and PY. So that means in your list, you will not see the visual for R and PY. Don't worry. So this is the number that we get. For example, this one I list from according to the team list that you sent to me. For example, this one I will just like send it to your line group as well. For example, Kanyapak group, you have to do visual number 1, 10, 22, and 30. So that means in here, hang on, just see in this one. Okay, you can see that in here. For example, Kanyapak team do visual number 1, 10, 22, 30. So if you go to Power BI, it will be number 1, number 10, number 22, and number 30. Like this. Okay. Now you just count like this. After that, just a little more that you have to know. You can see that some of the team, like Patradanai's team, you have extra visual one. What is extra visual? If you have a look on your Power BI, you can see that in here. This is get more visuals, right? You just click get more visuals. And after that, you just pick one from these visuals as one visual, because in the future, I'm sure that we'll use extra visual for sure, not just the built-in ones. Just pick one out of this to display. And then you just use the same information in what situation that this visual is good. And then you give us like some example of the data and show this visual, something like this. You can see that some teams, you have to do 2 visuals. While some teams do just 1 extra visual, some teams do not need to do extra visuals. How do I judge? I judge by number of team members that you have. For anyone like Surada's team, your group has to do 5 visuals because you have 5 people in your team. So everyone in the team must have equal chance to do and to present. But you may just like join together for the data as well. I mean, like if you have assigned for 5 visuals, you can use 5 different set of data. But if it might be great if you just like can use like 1 set of data, but it might be like from different tables in the same Power BI file to display these 5 visuals. So when will be the submission date? I will assign you from today up to the end of next week. So let's have a look in this one. You can see that in here because on the 22nd and 24th will be our presentation day. So you have the whole next week to do that. This week and the next week, I mean like from today the 8th until the 21st of March, you have the time to do these extra credit assignments. And I will assign some extra point assignment for individual of you as well. But I'll assign for you on next week. It will be just like the work on Power BI as well. Okay, so that means the submission, if you finish it beforehand, you can submit it me. Just let me know. I'll open up the submission button for you. But if you can't finish, the due date will be the 21st of March, before midnight on e-learning. You just send me the video files, and then I'll edit for you and then upload on e-learning so that every team can have a look on the presentation of your team. 1 team, 1 submission only. So that means you must have the continuous video, just 1 file only to show every visual that you have assigned.